Hey everybody again, it's FL Aeromedic, member of the HTC Elevate community. And yesterday I showed you that HTC had sent me a HTC U Ultra for a week-long test drive. Now, a lot of people are being able to do this over the country, and it's very cool to be a part of that. I've done some other things for the Elevate community in the past, as far as testing UIs and testing the M9 prior to its release. It it's nice to be able to do something for HTC, to help them test everything out and see how things are running. And they're giving back to the members now that are spending time on the Elevate community site and trying to advance that along with HTC to really get the HTC name out there and show everybody that HTC makes a really great product. You know, up to for debate is every year of the flagships versus not, and what we want as Android HTC community members. Everyone's got their idea, and they have to kind of balance that with their design and what they think the direction of smartphones are. So the Ultra was the next step. I know they've made the larger phones in the past, but the Ultra was the next step for mainstream HTC, I believe. So basically what you see is I am shooting this video on my HTC 10. I don't have any screen capture software or a big setup. I'm working on that to do more videos and things of that nature in the future. So hopefully, things will get better with time. Uh, Besides that, the videos for the HTC Ultra on this unboxing, I've already unboxed it and started using it because I only have a week to try it out. But we'll just do the normal, open the box and you'll see that it's already on. I'll show you what's in there. I'm not going to go through every spec detail of the phone. That's out there. I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there about that. But just so everyone can get a quick overview of the phone and some of the features, especially if you're already using HTC products, this is going to be pretty simple. The UI design hasn't changed a lot inside. There's a couple of extra things in the settings because of the secondary screen and the USonic features. But let's look at it real quick. So we'll open up the box, and you'll see there is the U Ultra. It is the onyx black color on the back. It comes in the top of the phone. And like I said, just excuse the video, me having to put my hands in front of the video and all things like that. So I'll work with it best I can, sitting here holding the phone and doing everything I can. As you can see, it comes with the SD card and SIM card ejector pin, and we'll show you where that's located at in just a few minutes. So fingerprints aside, that's the Ultra. As you can see, it's got the forward-facing camera, the top speaker, and the fingerprint home button at the bottom. Now, from the HTC 10, if you haven't had one of those, this is not a functional button as far as pressing and filling a click. It's basically just a scan or a touch, almost like the screen. It's tapped it almost type technology. And the HTC 10 came with a rough feeling button down there. Not too rough, but it's definitely different than the screen. Now this one has more of a smooth texture like the screen. It's not hard to find. There's a small indentation where it's at. It's not intrusive. It doesn't really take away from the design of the phone. So, by pressing that and holding your finger on it, even you see I did it sideways. So when you set up the phone, it allows you to touch it multiple different ways. So if you're grabbing your phone, you want to turn it on real fast, you don't have to have your finger on there perfectly. And that seems to be very nice for most people that grab their phone. So real quick, like you see at the top, you've got the secondary notification screen, and it works a lot like the regular screen. If you swipe left or right on it, it moves and it lets you decide what you're going to have in different areas. So weather, music, and contacts that you can set up there. Now you see my setup. I just put a very minimal carbon fiber background on it so you can almost see the icons and how they look on there. Now, video is not the greatest thing in the world most of the time. It's a very vivid screen. It does have settings for that. You can set warmth and how that will all show. But compared to my HTC 10, a very vivid screen. I thought my 9 was a little washed out. It was kind of bland. When I first had the 9, it was okay. I didn't notice much of a difference. But once I got my 10, I did notice that the colors on the 10 were much stronger, and it led to the phone looking much better when I was looking at different things, especially like the icons and such. If I compared the two together, it would have shown that they were washed out, but I'm not going to do that for this video. So the screens are set up, and I like to have a lot of screens even though I may not use them all at first. Now, the difference in this phone versus the HTC 10 in internal storage, 32 versus 64 in the American version. So you can hold more apps, photos, and such internally. It does have external storage, I believe up to 2 gigabytes. And I'm sorry, 256 gigabytes. And that setting is up here along with, it's hard to see. You can see the eject button is right there. That is actually a speaker, I do believe, or a microphone, not a speaker, a microphone. And then the SD card slot and SIM card are all in one on this phone. So when you eject it, you have both of them in there. There's no longer the two, one on each side or two on each side. There's just one, and the tray is large and holds both of them. I haven't had any problems with the SIM contact that some people have on other phones with the SIM making contact, or you lose the connection to the SIM and you kind of have to make your roundabout fixes for that. It seems like it's held up pretty well as far as that goes. So basically standard phone there. Real quick, we'll go with what else is in the box. It does come with the clear screen protector. I'm sorry, the back protector, because the back is glass. So, you know, it could be damaged fairly easily if you were to drop the phone. That is one of the design changes, going from the metal body to a glass wraparound on the phone. Now, there is a small lip for the screen where it makes contact with the metal body on the side. Overall, though, let me tell you, when I picked up this phone, it's larger than my HTC 10, but it is extremely light. It's like holding nothing in your hand almost. Even compared to other manufacturer phones, I found it extremely light. Now, no removable battery, of course. The battery is internal on this one. You have the USB-C connector, which is also your connector for your headphones, your Usonic headphones. You have your boom sound speaker on the bottom, and you have your earpiece speaker at the top. So continue on. Of course, what else in the box? It's the normal literature you get, and you know, the return bag along with a microfiber cloth and some stickers for the return of the phone. And I'm not sure if they're still doing, I know they used to give out HTC stickers in the box with the device, but this one did not have it. It may have been somewhere else, and they took those out of there. But the cables are new. The Usonic headphones are in there, along with extra earpieces for those. Extra and I guess different sizes. Haven't really unbagged any of that. I was going to show you guys that. The USB-C charger, which no longer has the folding prongs, which is almost, it's nice. It does make it a little difficult if you're trying to carry it in something small. I would like to have seen these be able to fold over or be retracted some way. It just makes it cleaner and nicer when you're carrying it. Or if you want to throw it in your pocket, you don't get poked by the prongs. And you have to use this charger because this is the integral part to it being a rapid charge. Now, if you're not familiar, USB-C can charge the HTC phones up to 80% in about 20 minutes. And that is super nice for your phone. It allows you to get a quick charge if you can get to a plug-in area and use this particular charger with a USB-C cable. in 20 minutes you can have 80% of your phone battery back. It's somewhat quicker with other devices like, say, an external battery plugged into it. It still takes a little bit, but it does seem to me, and it may just be incidental, that it does charge the phone slightly quicker. So the cable's about 3 foot long. You can find other ones online that are 3.0 charging USB-Cs that are a little bit longer, and that's nice if your charger is a little bit farther away from you in bed and you want to charge your phone at night before you lay down, or you have a distance where you're sitting from a charger. So, it's a nice long cable. There's no real problems with it. 3 foot, you can always try to make it get closer, or you can use an extension cord if need be. And then the Usonic headphones. So these are wrapped in plastic. You can take that off, and then you just have the matte black, and then the cable here. Male USB-A to the USB-C 3.0 charger. Now I'm going to do another video on the headphones and set them up for you. That'll be coming shortly after this, because I am pretty much, along with being a techno geek, I'm an audiophile. I really love music and how it sounds. So I'm interested in testing that out and showing you the setup for that as we go along. And I'll try to do my best not to yell in the phone when I have these earbuds in and setting it up, trying to tell you what goes on with that, because that is a very interesting part of the phone. Now, the protector fits on the back. It's got a little bit of a lip at the tops. The sides are cut out for the buttons, which on this phone, on the HTC U Ultra, there are none. On the left side of the phone, if you're looking at it, then on the right, you have the power button and your volume button. And of course, some of those are customizable inside the phone settings. So real quick, I'm just going to run through this. Most of you have probably already seen that. You have your pull down notifications normal on the screen. Now I can tap anything in the secondary and it becomes full screen. So it says no events in the next 24 hours. I just haven't set anything up. I've got a lot of events. And in fact, when I get off this, I've got a lot to get done to make it somewhere today in time. So tapping up there allows you to pull up what action you want to use if you have multiple actions. And we'll just pull up the Google Calendar. And of course you can select. And I do just once. A lot of times, unless you're just set on one type of app to pull up certain things, I take that extra second just once in case an app comes out I want to use. Obviously, I can go back in the settings and change that. It's just if you don't do that on a normal basis, it takes a little time to be able to do that. And it's only an extra second to tap what you want to use. Some things I know that I'll use all the time are things that I'll say always. So that's just kind of how I roll with it. But that's the good thing about Android. You can roll any way you want to with it. And HTC has come up with that very clean user interface. You have Sense and you have your blink feed and such, but they have really went back to using Google apps. Some people, like their third-party apps. Nothing wrong with that. Once again, that's the Android way. You choose what you want. But to keep the bloatware down to a minimum, they've taken off a bunch of the HTC apps they had. And I think that's the smart way to go. I was in on the conference call when they were talking about that with some of the leaders in HTC a few years ago. It was kind of a hectic conference call. And Laura's gone now, but she was heading that up. And it was crazy because people weren't muting their phones, and we were hearing all about their life as they were driving down the road on these conference calls. So pretty interesting, but I digress. Very clean design, and it's very smooth. I've had no hiccups with this thing. Setting it up, it came with about 67% battery life, and it loaded 119 apps and updated probably 80 of them. And I still, and I kept the screen on the whole night while I was doing different things. And as you can see, oh yeah, so I'm kind of letting you know about my location. Yes, that's the Magic Kingdom. Yes, I'm in the Orlando, Florida area, and the Blue Angels flew right over the castle yesterday, and everyone loved it. So that's actually one of my first passions is flying, and that's what I do. If you look up my profile on HTC Elevate, you'll see that. I'm kind of in that industry, so it's really cool. Central Florida area, we get to see some really cool things on a regular basis. So being an older person, it's very interesting to see that happen. So, like I said, I kept the screen on while everything was updating. It made it down to, I think I had 26% battery after about 4 hours of almost constantly having the screen on. So the secondary screen is nice. I figured it was a pull down screen, but it's actually a little tap screen to have whatever notification or app up there that's giving you the notification to open up. So it'll open up on the full screen like you saw with the calendar. Let's go. I'm not going to pull up any of those, but music, I don't have it fully set up yet. It goes to Google Play Music. One thing I would ask, HTC is to really, I know they wanted to go back to that. Nothing wrong with Google Music Play, and I've got some music on there from them, but having the HTC Music Player was a little bit of an easier way to play music on the phones. You could set up both. If you wanted to use Google Music, you could do that, or you could use the HTC Music Player. Of course, you can find the APK out there and side load that into the phone, and I've done that on the HTC 10 just because it's a little bit quicker use than the way the radio stations and artist albums are set up on Google Play for some of my needs as far as music. So as you saw, that opened up full screen, captive buttons on the bottom, not on the screen on this phone, and it allows you to go back to where you're at. Or you could just hit home screen, and you also have the split screen function of the phone there. All right, split screen, so I could pick up my calendar again. There you go, split screen. I know that came out on the HTC 10, and then you're able to decide what you want to do. Now, I know Aaron posted a video not too long ago on HTC Elevate about being able to move text around. That's pretty nice. I've used that. You can copy text to another screen if the app allows it. Now, once you're in here, there's multiple ways to get things done. I'm not going to show you all that, but I could just swipe up and pull up full screen again. Now, like I said, I wanted to run over some of the extra settings that are in there now. With the HTC U Ultra, sorry, it's hard to do when you're looking through just a screen. And I'm getting used to some new eyeglasses. I just had to get glasses, so there we go. All right, so you have your quick settings, of course. You can swipe over. You can set up anything you want to add in there. You have your brightness control at the top, and the AC wireless is in there. That's why you see the 5G on my Wi-Fi. And I haven't really tested that out yet, but I'll get to that. I love the speed and being able to, get things downloaded quickly like everyone else. So settings, as you can see, it's basically the same as before. You get an almost monochromatic screen with some color dials and buttons. And Sense Companion, now we're going to set up the ViewSonic later. Sense Companion, that is one of the big things HTC has moved towards. It's supposed to learn and understand things you do and give you options. So that's something we're going to set up too. And over the next few days, I'm going to see what it can learn about me and what information it can give me. One of the big things is it can tell me, when I need to leave to go somewhere, and it's already looked at traffic. So sometimes here in the Central Florida area, we'll go out and we think things are great and traffic is horrible, and then you're in a panic to get where you're going. Now you get sorry about all the color corrections. It's just the lighting. We're going to work on that and get that better for more videos in the future. There's your standard settings. It's got NFC, and I've already used that. Works seamlessly. You can personalize the phone. That includes themes, backgrounds, icons. It's the standard Sense home screen personalization you can get now. Fingerprint scanner, account setting, locations, all that good stuff. The rest of it, like I said, you got your boom sound built-in speakers set up right now. I got it on theater mode, and you also have music mode, and you just tap that to change it. ViewSonic, we're going to set that up, like I said. As you see, I have 121 apps installed. They sent me a 128 gigabyte phone. I didn't even look at that. that I had a question about when it first launched, and it kind of just didn't get answered. I think it was just covered up in a lot of comments about it being released. I asked the question the day it came out. So that's great. I would really like to have the 128 gigabyte HTC U Ultra. Really just keeps you from having to mess with the whole storage issue, which is a whole nother video about writing to the USB drive. I'm sorry, the SD card, and how things have to move. I really wish we could get back to just transferring things like on a computer, from the phone to the SD card and back. It'd be really great. And I'm sure there's some apps out there. It's just not something I've had to mess with too much. My storage has been okay. I've just had to watch what I've put on my phone, how many apps I'm using. And I'd really like to just go out there and go crazy on some apps and really try them out. So 14.92 gigabytes of the 128 gigabytes are used. And that's with 121 apps installed. My photos are backed up on Google Photo, so they don't take a lot of device memory, so that's good. And then I did the update last night for the phone version, and let's see here. I will find it, I promise. There we go. 1.15.167.12. So that was updated last night, and I probably could check here in just a little while to see if there's any other updates. I saw it on the feeds the other day that there was a patch out for the for Android 7.0. So I'm pretty sure that's the most recent, but I'll double check that all later. Anyway, that so far is the experience with the phone. You got to have your coffee, and we'll debate that later. But the apps are working just fine on the phone. I've had no problems with them. So far, I'm really enjoying the use of the phone. Call quality is good. Speaker-wise, may just be a setup issue between theater mode and music mode. I'm going to check that out later. It's a little tingy on the sound on the external speakers right now. Compared to my HTC 10, it's on the treble side. There's not a strong bass with the sounds, and maybe we'll do that in a future video. And yeah, there's a problem loading a widget. It just doesn't like the split screen ability of the phone. So that's not a phone problem per se. It's an app problem. In fact, the makers are no longer in business, and it's basically just a airport weather reporting app that I use. And you can pull the app up and use it, but I'm having a problem actually loading the airport's information on there. And I'm going to have to look back up how I did that on my 10. But I have it working on my 10, and I'm sorry about the blurriness. I think it's trying to focus a lot. So the video is getting a little long-winded, and I'm digressing a lot. Just wanted to show you guys that the Onyx Black